Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So we are back again today, and we have to talk some news. I mentioned it in the last video, but it's worth talking about again, and that is Mikie Sherill's comment, and which I wouldn't say it will, but it would possibly put her whole campaign in jeopardy. And here is why. Obviously, this was a political move by Sherill. I originally thought, oh, she's so low IQ. But after studying this a lot, I'm saying, you know what? It's quite obvious what she's trying to do. So, if you guys do not know the context of the race, Sherill in the Democratic primary has been identified as a moderate Democrat. Okay, she was running against a whole bunch of far leftists in the Democratic primary. We reviewed that, of course, in June, and probably one of the biggest far leftists was Ross Baraka and Stephen Fulop. They were a part of the anti-establishment vote. That relatively makes up a good 35% of the vote. So you got 35% of leftists rising up against the establishment, and I did see in the comments, which have been filled by left-wingers when it comes to the Democratic Party debates. They hated Sherill. They said she's too right-wing, which is obviously not. But obviously, it resulted to her becoming an easy target for her. And obviously, what you're seeing with the stunt is she's trying to win that base. Okay? Now, hang on. She's also trying to keep the moderate base, so this is what she did. She ended up voting in the said to condemn the attack. However, she quickly backtracked. So she realized, okay, I'll do a little bit of damage to my respect, which I had none, respect to the far left by condemning this attack. But I'm going to quickly backpedal so I can get those far leftists back on my side and say that, use the same leftist talking points, these far left talking points, suggesting that, you're a Christian nationalist. You want to roll back the rights of women, the rights of black people, the yada, 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 when it comes to this. So that's just kind of her logic. Will it work? I don't think it will. The far left has made up their mind about Mikie Sherill. They don't like her. She's too establishment, and they're right. She is an insider when it comes to this. She's too deep state. They will probably show up to vote for her regardless because, let's be honest, everything's a challenge for these far left lunatics. But when we talk about specifically getting young people that are aligned with Turning Point USA, they were already aligned, probably already going out to vote for Sherill regardless. But now you have Mikie Sherill saying the quiet part out loud, spewing the hate. And basically, in other words, I'm going to be quite honest with you, carrying the rifle of Mr. Robinson's rifle. And using it to, once again, in metaphorical wise, to go after his supporters. Tyler Robinson. So yeah, you're carrying Tyler Robinson's rifle after he was arrested. You're the successor of Tyler Robinson. You're taking the rifle and you're metaphorically going after his supporters. That's quite literally what you're doing. Like it or not, Mikie Sherill, regardless if you're doing it intentionally, and you are doing it intentionally because the grift is quite obvious. The political strategy that you're trying to do. You're trying to play both sides. No, you cannot get both sides in this. You look at the primary results, you can clearly see Mikie Sherill getting only 34%. To be honest, yes, there were also establishment candidates like Stephen Sweeney, who picked up 7.11%. You got Sean Spiller, which is hilarious. He's a nobody, and he got 10%. Hilarious. You got Josh Goppenheimer, who is, I want to believe, he's a fellow congressman, and Stephen Fulop was a leftist candidate who is a lunatic to begin with. I don't know if he's likely more establishment. All of them are probably establishment, But Thulip and Baraka are more insane, and they appeal more to the far left. So they've been taking away votes from Sherill, and Sherill overall just happened to win, probably because she's obviously the woman in the game, and she got all the women voters in the Democratic primary, which obviously women make up a significant base of the Democratic Party. So that did fall in her benefits. So what are the consequences of Cheryl's language and Cheryl's big loud mouth, regardless if she meant it or not? Well, what she probably doesn't realize is, I'm not saying this is going to be for sure, or this is going to be for fact, and this is what's going to happen. And what's probably going to incentivize this, what I'm hoping is that Shirelli takes notes. Shirelli writes down the quote that obviously that Charlie Kirk wanted to roll back the rights of women and black people and yada, 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 yada. Shirelli, you should take notes. If you want to win, take notes. And you have a debate coming up. I'm not sure when, but you always have a debate. Excuse me. You always have a debate in some sort of month. I don't know when that debate's going to be. You do have a debate coming up. I know this for fact. I don't think they have it set for Wikipedia yet. I want to believe it's in October. But they will be debating. And what you will probably see, and I'm probably hoping here, is you're going to see the candidate. You should expect Shirelli to really go off on Sherill here. Sherill has nothing to campaign on but Trump, 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 Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that. Trump has nothing to do with New Jersey, by the way. Trump has some ties to New Jersey. He grew up near New Jersey. That doesn't make Trump on the issue on the ballot. Let's be quite honest. It's actually going to be state issues, like how Phil Murphy destroyed the state in the last 8 years of his tenure. All right? How did he manage to do that in a matter of 8 years? That is crazy. So obviously, it is very possible. This is kind of our prediction map that we've had for the last week. You do have Shirelli picking up 12 counties, Sherill picking up 9. I did we did flip Pasiak, because Pasiak has pretty much turned a corner, just like Atlantic, just like, this is Atlantic right here. Atlantic and Camden County, I think this is Cumberland County. Yeah, those two counties, they're relatively Democratic. They flipped and pretty much hardline Republican. Pasiak County has a lot of Hispanics, but they also have a lot of Italians, which do appeal to Jack Shirelli. So pulling up Jackson Jude, we can actually see how much things swung in a matter of the gubernatorial race, and also the race in regards to the election with the presidential race, because New Jersey is trending left. Except the idea, pardon me. I want to get this out of the way real quickly, because some people will say that, well, what about, that one convicted, Menendez, yes, Bob Menendez. You had the other guy overperform Bob Menendez. I do think it was Andy Kim. Andy Kim, he did better in regards to, this is Senate race, and we want to do, let's compare. Like, I am so done with this Jackson Jude. Like, okay, this is, all right, there we go. So this is 2024. Yeah, technically, Bashaw overperformed the Republican nominee when it came to, it was 2018, whoever that may be. I can't really get on the top of my mind. So it is trending right, but not as much. Maybe a lot of Democrats were incentivized that, hey, look, Andy Kim at least isn't a Bob Menendez. Andy Kim, after all, had a lot of hurrahs. You had Curtis Bashaw passing out in the middle of the debate. That did not help Curtis Bashaw. And then he comes out and said, "Oh, I forgot to eat breakfast." That does not sound like someone that is ready to lead. That's just common sense. I think that kind of took out. This was live on television, live, and for the whole world to see. And he could have just said, "Hey, I just had a medical issue," or something. He's just saying that, "Oh, I just felt I didn't eat breakfast." It shows you are irresponsible and you don't prioritize stuff. So Curtis Bashaw really screwed that up. But regardless, he did manage to overperform the previous Republican opponent. Want to go to the governor's races. You can clearly see when it comes to past elections, we can go all the way to the 2021 election. Yeah, you can clearly see that it was a huge performance, 10% for Sherill, -4 for Murphy overall, 6-point gain. And if this trend continues, could Sherill be put over the top? Well, I can tell you, Sherill is not helping slow down Sherill's surge, saying loud comments like what she said and not campaigning enough, or basically not campaigning at all, allegedly, hanging out and vacationing in California. This could jeopardize her whole entire campaign. We finally take a look at the state. Let's go ahead and see presidential race here. Yeah, I mean, every single county. So a shift to the right in Passaic County was a 19-point shift. -10 for Harris, although you did see Stein gain like 2.18. Bergen County is also a county that, hey, Jack could possibly pick up. It is a county that's going to be very concerned about Zohran Mamdani, and that's another individual that Sherill needs to talk about more. Zohran Mamdani. Because supposedly, yes, you have New York City's race, but a lot of people are like, well, it's in New York City. Why should we be concerned? Because a lot of working New Jerseyans will go to New York City and they come back. All right, not to mention crime, right? Crime also affects this area of New Jersey, coming from New York City. So if Zohran Mamdani wants to be a socialist, that wants to do all this bad stuff to the police and to the law, infringe on the law, all that stuff, and just be so slow and not take crime seriously, you're going to see crime go expanding all across northern New Jersey. That's going to be a problem. Sherill needs to address that. Hey, look, you have Zohran Mamdani endorsing Mikie Sherill. That's not good. You got to take advantage of that. Hey, look, Zohran Mamdani endorsed Mikie Sherill. Zohran Mamdani likes Mikie Sherill. Zohran Mamdani agrees with Mikie Sherill. You should have no one that has a connection with Zohran Mamdani. That needs to be put. So if Sherill wants to make this race about Trump, let's make it about Mamdani. Because if we're going to play that game, we're going to play it back. Because I'll tell you this, it's a fact. Zohran Mamdani is much more extreme than Donald Trump. By 100% more times. Zohran Mamdani. Have you seen the words he has said? Unbelievable. So, and obviously people are leaving New York City, assuming he's going to win. Unbelievable. So you see the trends in the numbers. It's all up here. It's a darker red. Why? You just have crime in Newark. Also in Hudson. Why? Hudson County, New Jersey. New York City is right here. So if Zohran Mamdani's running, and he is, you're going to hope that Hudson County voters swing aggressively to Sherill. That Bergen County voters swing so hard that maybe Sherill picks it up, along with Passaic, which we already have him carrying, by the way. And Essex County, which holds which holds, I'm blanking on the name. Yeah, Newark. You hope if you see much more swing to the right, guess what? I'm going to be honest with you. Shirelli should win this election. He should. If you're seeing aggressive swings over concerns about Mondami, if you see the college communities, college students, Turning Point USA, I'm talking to Erica Kirk. I know she's a grieving widow right now. She's grieving, and she has every right to grieve for her dead husband. She has every right to do that. But eventually, I know Charlie would want to see his followers take on the principles that he has laid down on the table. The best way to honor Charlie Kirk is not to light a candle for him. Being straight honest. It's actually to go out there and implement his teachings. Okay? Go out there. Do what he told you to do. Be an example. Charlie Kirk is gone. Charlie Kirk is not going to be with us forever. And now he's gone, unfortunately, and it's sad that he was gone too soon. But now more than ever, we got to charge like a crusade. Turning Point USA. We got to deliver the turning point. It's not just a metaphorical term. No, it's an actual turning point. This is the turning point for New Jersey. Turning point. College students, it's time for the turning point in New Jersey here now. Are you going to let Mikie Sherill slander an American martyr and his grieving wife and his family and his supporters? No. Then what are you going to do? Vote her out. That's all it takes. Vote for Shirelli. Now, I do know, obviously, there are sore losers, and I'm going to be quite honest with you, and I understand people that do like Bill Spadea, but I'm telling you right now, Bill Spadea's career is over. Bill Spadea is not helping himself. You would think after this, Bill Spadea would unite under Charlie Kirk and Jack Shirelli and endorse Shirelli, but he hasn't even endorsed it. In fact, he has declined to endorse. I've watched the debates between Spadea and Shirelli, and they were not civically led debates. That was very nasty. And Bill Spadea, I agree with him on every single issue. He was just running in the wrong state, and voters rejected him because he was running in the wrong state. He's a Pennsylvania MAGA Republican. He would be perfect in Pennsylvania, but he ran in New Jersey, which is not ready to be a MAGA state yet, and he's mad he lost the primary, and I'm sorry, bro, you're going to lose the primary regardless. Have you even seen the polls, bro? Come on. I don't want to call him an idiot, but really. And then he wants to go and not endorse. Like he's punishing Shirelli. No. In fact, it's going to make it very hard for you, Bill Spadea, to actually become the nominee, because you're going to be seen as the obstacle of what prevented Shirelli to win. So Spadea needs to course correct right now. He needs to say, I need to put my differences with Jack aside. I need to merge with him to deliver the fatal consequences of this is what happens when Mikie Sherill and her big fat mouth opens up the wrong way. You lose your re-election. But Bill Spadea, unfortunately, doesn't want to do that. His ego is much more pure than the martyrdom of Charlie Kirk and his whole legacy, which is disappointing. So my respect for Bill Spadea has collapsed, in my view. He needs to do better. I mean, I don't want to see this guy be a nominee. Unless he moderates and actually tries to fit in the climate with the state, or leaves New Jersey to run in Pennsylvania, I would support him. Not anymore. I'm like, seriously, bro, you are going to, if Shirelli loses ridiculously, you will be the blame, and your career is over. So this guy's probably secretly rooting against Shirelli just because he's butthurt about not winning. I think that's babyish, and if he loses by like 6 points, which would be devastating, Bill Spadea will be to blame, because take a look at those Republican debates and it'll just come to show. Bill Spadea has a huge audience following, and he's basically telling his voters not to vote for Shirelli. You guys ought to hope that they don't listen to him. This guy's an idiot moron. Come on. This guy is saying, oh, we got to liberate New Jersey. We got to save New Jersey. Stand up for New Jersey. Then he tells them not to vote for the guy who is going to liberate New Jersey, regardless if you disagree with him or not. Bill Spotty, I think it's going to become a MAGA state right then and there. This guy wasn't even elected in politics. This guy wasn't even elected in a legislature. He hasn't even won an election. And he thinks that, oh, it's going to become a MAGA state in 2025. No. It does not work like that. It never works like that. It never works like that. In fact, if you push it, force it like that, it backfires. So, yeah, I'm frustrated with Bill Spadia, and I really hope he doesn't screw this up. He's become a huge liability. And, yeah, I mean, I had to address that. But don't worry, Cheryl, we had to address Bill Spadia, which I gave some big backlash to, but you're going to hope that people vote on their instincts of what's going on in New York City. People, college students in Turning Point, and conservative students turn out and vote in the college areas of New Jersey, and just New Jerseyans vote for change in general, like for cheaper energy prices, lower crime, low government, the classical conservatives. And you just got to hope that, Mikie Sherill, she has absolutely nothing to campaign on other than but Trump this, Trump that, Trump this. Then we're just going to say, oh, but Mondami this and Mondami that. Sherill is a Mondami puppy, a Mondami puppet. We can make that argument, and therefore she has absolutely nothing to campaign on. So, yeah, Cheryl's campaign, she's probably going to pull it off, as so the polls claims. I would not be shell-shocked to learn that she pulls it off. But we're going to see. I mean, it's just a matter of a month and a half until that gubernatorial race. I'm looking forward to it. And we're going to see if we overperform the 2021 margin. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.